In this video, I'm going to talk about the LuckGrib offshore data system. This is the way for offshore sailors to download weather data while they're at sea using some kind of a satellite device such as Iridium GO, or also a satellite phone connected through a red port optimizer. The general structure of this video will be I'll be showing off the Mac version of the app first, and then I'll go through a demo on the iPad, and then I'll show a download of a weather file through the Iridium Go. The system works virtually the same on all devices. You can use the same capability of downloading through the Iridium Go on a Mac or iPad or iPhone. So there's differences in the user interface, but the system itself is virtually the same. So having said that, there's a website available which goes through some of the details and some of the philosophy behind the system. So the LuckGrib offshore data system, I'm making claims that it's the best available. There's no other weather service on this planet which offers better compression or better technology. So we've generally become leery of people who make this kind of claim. They just kind of think of it as marketing, and it's not real. But it's real. That's not just a marketing claim. Yeah, I've been getting feedback from people who have been reading my marketing claims, and they're saying, "Yeah, you're right. It's true." There's two major components, or at least two major components. One of them is the compression being offered through the service, which is superior to any other service available. A lot of effort has gone into making the offshore data files as small as possible, and the compression that is being achieved by the system is better than anything else. And basically, the smaller the file, the faster the download. So for a given size of file, you can download more weather data using this system than any other. There's other components to this system which are also highly optimized. And if you read the offshore.luckgrib.com site, there are some other details. I don't give too much away, but I make claims, and I think I've backed them up with some example files. So having said all that, you can access the system in a variety of ways. The Iridium GO is a very popular device these days. It's nice because you can sign up for an unlimited data plan. So people are using this device to regularly download files which are between 50 and 100 kilobytes, which is small by the standards of high-speed internet. But when you're offshore at sea, that's a pretty large file. And with the compression being offered by the offshore data system, you can pack a lot of data into that size file. So that's the Iridium Go. It's a nice device, and there'll be a demonstration of downloading data through that later in the video. There's also the red port optimizer, which is a really cool device. You plug it in, and then you plug a satellite phone into it, and it's a way of having that satellite phone be accessed by iPads or iPhones, or also by Macs. Very simple to use. Plug it in, forget it. I'll do a little scenario. I'm offshore. I'm sailing from Nia Bay down to California. And the first thing to do is to update your position so you have an idea of where you are. And now I won't go into great detail on this, but if on the Mac you have a vessel created, you can update the time and then update your position. For this example, I'll do 4 degrees, 35 minutes, 126 degrees, 56 minutes. So there's a new position, and I've this file you're looking at is the previous file I downloaded earlier. And what I want to do now is update this file using the offshore system. So the first thing to notice is the download. When you purchase the offshore data system, you have more options in the download area. Normally you're using the high-speed internet downloads, but if you use the offshore compact files via slow internet, this is the way you get at the satellite downloads. So I just pushed the settings button there, which took me to the application preferences download area. And I've chosen the satellite or other low bandwidth connection. And if I go to settings, this is where I can choose the Iridium GO, the red port optimizer, or for this test, I'll be using the direct internet, but through the offshore data system. When you choose the Go, then you also have options for setting up the device. And when you do that for the first time, you should tap the Verify Device Settings button, which will go through and initiate a connection to the Go or to the red port optimizer. And when the verifying comes back correctly, then you're good to go. So for this one, we'll do the internet. You can also set the file size, the maximum file size. So you may ask for a very large file accidentally or for whatever reason. And depending upon the data plan you have and how many downloads you'll be doing, you may have a size of file which you want not to be exceeded. In this example, I'm choosing 80 kilobytes, but it could be whatever you want, 40 or whatever. On my last offshore passage, I was using downloads through a single sideband radio using a Pactor modem, and my typical file sizes were around 12 kilobytes. So the luxury of having a faster and more reliable device, such as Iridium GO, will be great. So there's the settings. I'm going to choose 80 kilobytes and download things through the satellite. And I open up the download manager, and what I want to do is update this West Coast GFS file I've done earlier. Now, as you travel, you'll want to update the region for your weather. Now that I've gone further south, the region is too far north. I want to nudge this region south. You can do this in a couple of ways. In this editor, there are buttons which will just push the region 1 degree south or west or east or north. And as you do that, you'll see the highlight area is the region for the new download. So I could do that several times and push it to where I want to go. I want to see some of the weather north of me, some west of me, and also some more south. The other way to do that, I'll put that back to where it was, is if I'm traveling, I travel pretty much in the southwest direction, and you can have the system update, excuse me, have the system update the region for you. So I'll type in southwest, and yeah, around 120 miles is about right. So set up that and tap this apply heading distance adjustment, and there the system's updated the region for you. So that's the first step. Now I have a new region for a weather download, and yeah, so I want to download it. So that this request has been highlighted, and I'll tap the download request button. And now I've queued one request. You may want to do more than one download at a time. For example, you could do a very large download with just pressure to get a sense of what the overall weather will be in the larger region, or you could be downloading ocean currents and the atmosphere at the same time. So if you wanted to go through and set up a different region, you could do that now, and then when you tap download request, a second request will be added to the queue. For this example, I'll just do one. So once the queue has the content you want, you tap the Start Download button. And when you're using Iridium GO, it'll go through a negotiation process where it attaches to the GO, asks the GO to make a connection to the internet, and then do the download and come back to this point because I'm using the high-speed internet version of the offshore data system. It just did this whole thing in 2 seconds. You won't have that. It won't be that fast when you're at sea. But this example did go through all of the offshore data system. It spoke to the LuckGrib server cluster on the port assigned to offshore data. So yeah, we'll close this window now, and there's the new weather data file. So yeah, I think at this point I'll switch over to the iPad and do a short demo there. Okay, so I mentioned that on the iPad you have all the same functionality as you do on the Mac. The way you access that functionality is through the weather files area. So in this example, the scenario is that I've downloaded a file yesterday. I want to update it for my travel since yesterday to get new weather data. So the way to do that will be to open the weather files area. This to Bermuda request is the one I want to update. So I'll tap on the update button to the left of that. And the system takes you to this page where you have the option to change the region. Normally when you're offshore, you're moving around, hopefully. So you can update the region or not. In this example, what I'll do is look at my logbook and see that since yesterday I've traveled in the east-southeast direction, east-southeast, for 160 miles. 160, I'll tap the update heading distance. So I just tapped on the screen to dismiss that editor and look at the region, and yeah, that looks pretty good from the logbook. Normally when you're at sea, if your device has a GPS, you can use this location button. So in the title bar area, there's a location button. You can tap the location button and it takes you to where your vessel currently is, if you have a GPS. However, for this demo, I'm in Seattle, so that doesn't really help so much. So I'll turn that off and go back. Some iPads have a GPS built in, some don't. All the iPhones have GPS built in. So yeah, the region looks good. I want to update this weather. So I just swiped to the right from the left-hand side of the screen to open up the editor again. And this region now looks good. I'll tap the download button. And we go to this window. So now there's one request queued. The queue has the to Bermuda request. If I wanted to add another file for the same download, you may want to download currents in this area, ocean current. So if you swipe from the left, you go back to the file list. And this is where you would tap a different update. So if I had for instance, the RTOFS, the Global Ocean Current model request in the list, I could tap the update button, do the same thing, update its region, and then add that to the queue, and I would have 2 files in the queue. But for this example, I'll just do the one. So I have the queue now contains the requests I want. I'll tap the Start Download button. And again, if you're connected to the Red Port Optimizer, it would go through the negotiation of opening the optimizer, the attached phone on the optimizer, waiting for the connection to be established, and then download the file. So yeah, there we go. We have new data now. So I'll close this window, and there it is. If I go back to the previous file, there's the old one, and here's the new one. So yeah, the offshore data system is it's a cool system. You should give it a try if you're offshore. So with that, I'll go through a demonstration of a download through the Iridium GO. Okay, in this example, we have a Iridium GO attached to an iPad. I've added a GRIB request to the queue and just tapped the start download. So the first process will be the app communicating with the Iridium GO, alternatively the Red Port Optimizer. But in this example, the Iridium GO, it goes through a negotiation process to have it establish first the credentials, and then internet connection, which is just done. So the app is now talking to the LuckGrib server cluster. It sent the request, and the cluster came back with the file, and here we go downloading it. It's roughly 300 bytes per second, which is pretty slow by modern standards for internet. But for offshore data download, that's you can get a lot of data into 300 bytes per second with the proper system. So the signal looks good here still. And there it is. What took this file, which was a small file for a demonstration, only 13 kilobytes, took overall a minute and a half to download. So yeah, that's how Iridium GO works. You first establish a connection, open up the connection to the internet, and do a download, and then close the connection. Yeah, that's how it works. Thanks for watching. Bye.